The big story, the Supreme Court all set to have 3 big hearings on Thursday. Arvind reporting that story, joining us now. Arvind, what more do we know?
Yeah, Ankita, an eventful day tomorrow in Supreme Court with the CJ Chief Justice Ramana, who is retiring on Friday, has listed 3 very important cases for hearing tomorrow in the bench. The first case is in connection with the plea by women activists and also TMC MP Mahua Maitra, who has challenged the remission or the release of 11 convicts in the Bilkis Banu case. So they have challenged the Gujarat government's remission order before the Supreme Court in a public interest litigation. And tomorrow, Supreme Court Chief Justice of India led bench will be hearing that particular petition. So that's a very important case that the bench led by Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, will be hearing tomorrow. Along with that, 2 other very important cases have also been listed before this bench. One, another petition that have challenged, that have sought for probe or investigation into the Pegasus Fiber scandal is also listed before its bench. Earlier, Supreme Court had constituted a committee led by retired Justice Ravindran to look into this particular case, to look into this issue of Pegasus Fiber scandal and also to investigate the issue. So the committee, the court-appointed committee, has already filed its report, the final report. So tomorrow, Supreme Court will be hearing that particular report also. That's the second very important case. And also third very important case is that the Supreme Court will consider the plea to seeking review of the PMLA judgment that was given by a 3-judge bench in July this year. So that matter will also be heard in an open court, wherein the petitioner Karthi Chidambaram has sought for a stay on the judgment, on the PMLA judgment. So 3 very important cases have been listed before CJ's bench tomorrow. So it's an all-eventful day tomorrow ahead in Supreme Court.
All right, Arvind, thanks very much indeed for joining us with those latest details. In other news, the Aam Aadmi Party has called for a special session of the Delhi Assembly on Friday amid the huge political row over their charge that the BJP is trying to bring down the elected government by breaking the party. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has summoned all MLAs of the party to a meeting on Thursday.
प्रजातंत्र में ऐसी नीचता मैंने पहले कभी नहीं देखी.
Join the BJP or face CBI heat. This was the bombshell claim by 4 AAP MLAs, where they alleged that the BJP threatened them to join the party. This comes days after Manish Sisodia claimed he was offered the Chief Minister's post by the BJP.
धमकी भरे शब्दों में कहते हैं 20 करोड़ का ऑफर है, ले लो, वरना जैसे मनीष सिसोदिया पे सीबीआई छोड़ दी, ऐसे ही तुम्हारे ऊपर फर्जी मुकदमे लगा दिए जाएंगे.
पिछले 1-2 दिन में मेरी भी नजर में आया, कुछ विधायकों ने मुझसे संपर्क किया है कि उनको सीबीआई और ईडी की धमकी देके डराया जा रहा है, उनको पैसे का लालच देके कहा जा रहा है कि आम आदमी पार्टी छोड़ दो, आम आदमी पार्टी तोड़ दो.
However, the AAP MLAs ducked specific questions on proof of their claims and the BJP demanded evidence.
You have no escape path. आप बच नहीं सकते.
जब मैंने अपने हथियार उनके सामने नहीं डाले तो कहते हैं कि देख लो फिर भाजपा के नेता क्या करते हैं आपके साथ.
ट्रेलर पे ट्रेलर, ट्रेलर पे ट्रेलर, फिल्म नहीं आ रही, ट्रेलर पे ट्रेलर आ रहे हैं.
जब ब्रह्मास्त्र की जरूरत होगी तो ब्रह्मास्त्र चलेगा जरूर, ये मेरा वादा है आप लोगों से.
Meanwhile, top AAP leaders met in Delhi to discuss the BJP's alleged attempt to topple the Delhi government.
The tussle between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP has intensified in the national capital ahead of the Himachal and Gujarat polls. After AAP MLAs' explosive claims as CM Kejriwal has summoned all MLAs at 11 a.m. tomorrow, while the BJP continues to rubbish these claims, calling it AAP's tactics to escape corruption charges. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, Vedant for NDTV.
Meanwhile, BJP's new Mahagathbandhan government of Nitish Kumar and Tejashwi Yadav won a confidence vote comfortably, but assembly proceedings were overshadowed by CBI raids on top Lalu Yadav aides over an alleged land for railways job scam. The RJD called the raids political vendetta and claimed the BJP was scared of being wiped out in Bihar in 2024.
The CBI at the homes of top Lalu Yadav aides asked before the Nitish Kumar Tejashwi Yadav confidence vote. This time, the allegation that land was transferred to Lalu Yadav in exchange for railway jobs. Among those raided, Sunil Singh, a member of Bihar's Legislative Council and a close aide of Lalu Yadav and his family. The raids resonated in the Bihar Assembly during the trust vote.
बीजेपी हारती है या बीजेपी जिससे जिससे डरती है वहां ये अपने 3 जमाई आगे कर देते हैं। पहला जमाई सीबीआई, दूसरा जमाई ईडी, तीसरा जमाई इनकम टैक्स।
The chief minister targeted the RSS and rebutted the BJP's allegations that he broke the alliance over his prime ministerial ambitions.
अब तरह-तरह का नाम दे रहे। आजादी से क्या मतलब था? 75वां साल में कह रहे थे कि ये होगा। अरे भाई, आजादी की लड़ाई में कहां थे?
The vote itself was a formality, given Nitish and Tejashwi's comfortable numbers. The BJP walked out during Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's speech.
बनी है पूरा बिहार आज अराजकता के मुंह में धकेला जा चुका है महोदय।
The assembly session started with Speaker Vijay Kumar Sinha, a BJP MLA, stepping down from his post. A no confidence motion was moved against him soon after the Grand Alliance came to power. Mr. Sinha had earlier refused to resign, citing unfounded allegations by the RJD-JDU against him. With Habib Ali and Manish Kumar, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has emerged as the front-runner to become the next Congress president. He still says Rahul Gandhi should be convinced to take on the top job, but Rahul is clearly not interested. Digvijay Singh admitted as much on Tuesday when he said Rahul Gandhi cannot be forced to become the Congress chief. The party has announced that a date for the Congress president's election will be decided at a meeting on Sunday.
The three Gandhis have left India for Sonia Gandhi's treatment, possibly triggering still further delays in the party's presidential polls. Ashok Gehlot, who's being seen as a front-runner in case any of the Gandhis decide not to contest, today told NDTV he doesn't want to remain Rajasthan Chief Minister, but would like to see Rahul Gandhi become party president.
आप एक उम्मीदवार है इसमें सब ये पद में?
मैं कोई उम्मीदवार नहीं बनता हूँ कभी भी। मुझे हाईकमान जो कहता है वो मैं करता हूँ। मैं जाके आया गुजरात के अंदर, वो हमारे इसलिए मैं जाके मिला उनसे। मुझे जाना था चेकअप के लिए।
The Congress meanwhile lost another face, spokesperson Jaivir Sheghil, who quit the party.
It is purely being influenced by a cabal, by a coterie who merely indulge in sycophancy and who serve their self-interest.
Although he held no senior post, Sheghil's exit comes just after top leaders like Ghulam Nabi Azad and Anand Sharma stepping down from the roles assigned to them by the party bosses. With camera person Pooja Arya, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
A scuffle between the NCP and the Shinde faction of the Shiv Sena broke out right outside the State Assembly in Mumbai, both sides raising slogans on corruption. NCP MLAs carried carrots to the steps of the legislature building in a bid to taunt the ruling Shiv Sena BJP coalition. The Shinde faction tried to snatch these away, leading to these unruly scenes.
कुछ भी हुआ है, ये तो एक टेलर था, पिक्चर अभी बाकी है, समझ में आया क्या? हम लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं? हम लोग जब घोषणाबाजी दे रहे थे उन लोग का आना नहीं चाहिए था। हम लोग चाहने के बाद वो आना चाहिए था। वो लोग कल परसों जो कुछ कर रहे थे, हम लोग कोई आया इसमें से एक ही दोनों पार्टी का, तो क्यों आया? तो इसको कोई ठेस लग गई। तब क्या हमको क्या करेगा वो लोग? हम लोग ने उनको धक्का मुक्की कर दिया।
Supriya Sule tweeted saying Home Minister Amit Shah ji, MLAs of Shinde faction are trying to intimidate the opposition by making violent statements in public in the Maharashtra Vidhan Bhavan premises. Telangana's BJP MLA T. Raja Singh, arrested for his alleged derogatory comments on Prophet Muhammad, got bail as the court rejected a police request for custody. And while the BJP suspended him formally, he got a hero's welcome at his office in Gosha. Well, hundreds protested after T. Raja was given bail. Protests called for his suspension from the assembly as well. Protesters showed black flags and there were protests in various parts of town.
पूरे शहर हैदराबाद के लिए भाजपा का एक विधायक एक अमन के लिए खतरा बन चुका है। जो पिछले 8 साल से हैदराबाद में अमन है, आज उस अमन को वो बिल्कुल कमजोर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो इसलिए ये बहुत ही कंडेमनेबल बात है और उनको इस बात की कोई शर्मिंदगी नहीं है।
Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital and Research Centre at Mullapur in Punjab's Mohali district. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann was also present at that inauguration. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated a 2,600-bed private hospital with cutting-edge technology, including a centralized, fully automated laboratory. Haryana Governor Bandaru Dattatreya and Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar were also present at that event. In other news, the Supreme Court will constitute a new bench to hear the freebies case. The court has said we have to see what is a freebie and what is welfare. We can't sit and argue if a free cycle or a boat for rural poor person is a freebie or welfare. The court proposed an all-party meeting by the centre on the freebies issue. Chief Justice Ramana will retire on Friday. A new bench will hear that case. Two infiltration bids have been foiled by the army in 48 hours. These were in fact tackled by alert troops along the line of control in Noida. Troops were apparently able to monitor movements of terrorists as they crossed the line of control. Nazir Masoodi joining us with more details. Nazir, what are we hearing?
Well, there were two incidents. In one, army captured an infiltrator who had actually infiltrated in 2016 also, but on humanitarian grounds he was repatriated to Pakistan in 2017. But he came back, according to army, to carry out a Fidain attack, and he has told the army that he had taken like 30,000 rupees from our Pakistani army official and to carry on a Fidain attack. He was, captured in an injured condition. There was another, incident, infiltration attempt where, according to army, 2 infiltrators have been killed. Huge cache of arms and ammunition have been recovered. Both these incidents have happened in Rajouri area of Jammu, which has of late become really a main, challenge for the security agencies in terms of the infiltration. We have seen, like 10 days ago, there was a major Fidain or a suicide attack on an army camp in which 5 army soldiers were killed and 2 others were injured. So this is a huge success for the army, and they say they have actually foiled 2 infiltration attempts, and in one they have captured 1 infiltrator who was planning to carry out this Fidain attack, and in another incident 2 infiltrators have been killed.
Nazir, thank you for those details. Ahead of the demolition of the Supertech Twin Towers in Noida this Sunday, there's anxiety among residents of apartments located near the demolition site. They will in fact have to vacate their homes all day. The demolition itself will take just 9 seconds in a controlled blast, but residents are being kept away for 9 whole hours.
Multi-story high, the infamous Twin Towers in Noida's Sector 93A, taller than Delhi's Qutub Minar. But in another 4 days, these will come down because they have been deemed unsafe. 7,000 residents who live barely 10 meters away in Supertech Emerald will have to vacate their homes by 7 a.m. on the 28th of August and stay out till 4 p.m. 52-year-old Rajendra Raj Singh is making arrangements to protect his belongings from flying debris. He and his wife are also shifting things out of the flat.
और जो वॉल हैंगिंग्स हैं, जो टेलीविजन है, उसको उतार लिया हमने दोबारा से, एयर कंडीशन कवर कर दिया है हमने। और जो भी शीशे सीलिंग करनी है हमको, डस्ट के आने की वजह से जो सीलिंग करनी है, सीलिंग करने की तैयारी कर रहे हैं हम लोग। पेपर पे दिखाया जा रहा है, वो तो सब अच्छा दिखाया जा रहा है। वापस आके देखेंगे कि एग्जैक्टली क्या निकल के आता है उसमें से और कितनी टूट फूट होती है, वो तो बाद में पता लगेगा आने का। पर ये पक्का है कि बिकॉज ऑफ नॉइज साउंड लेवल इतना बढ़ जाएगा, जो ब्लास्ट होगा उसकी वजह से शीशे तो टूटेंगे ही टूटेंगे।
There is anxiety among most residents. The demolition will be carried out by Edifice Engineering. 3,500 kg of explosives have been placed near the pillars to ensure the rubble and dust doesn't move outwards.
जो waterfall implosion technology जो हम लोग ने पहले भी आपको बताई है, the same technology is going to conduct here. So it is basically a one floor heat to other floor. So basement 1 से चालू होगा फॉल गिरना, ग्राउंड वाला बेसमेंट 1 पे जाएगा, फर्स्ट फ्लोर ग्राउंड पे जाएगा, सेकंड फ्लोर फर्स्ट पे जाएगा. दिस इज कॉल्ड द वाटरफॉल इफेक्ट.
Special arrangements are being done for the demolition day. Noida and the Greater Noida Expressway to remain shut from 2:15 to 2:45 p.m. Areas in 400-meter radius of the Twin Towers to remain sealed. No fly zone in Noida from 2:15 to 2:45 p.m. Special arrangements are also being made at hospitals in Noida to deal with emergencies.
There are going to be 3 challenges as far as the demolition of the Supertech Twin Tower is concerned. The first challenge is going to be the demolition itself, because the neighboring societies are just 9 meters away, and when the demolition happens, no rubble should fall there and damage those buildings. The second will be the demolition is called a waterfall demolition, which means that all the floors will come down crashing as the demolition takes place, and the task will be to ensure that the rubble does not spread to the areas that also surround the Supertech Twin Towers. And the third is going to be the dust. Now this is going to be a big challenge, and while Noida authorities and Edifice Engineering, they are saying that there cannot be a concrete solution for it, but some sort of labor as well as sprinkling of water will be done to ensure that people who come to live after the demolition do not face the consequences of the blast because of the dust in the nearby areas. With camera person Mohammad Mursaleen and colleagues Arvind Uttam and Saurav Shukla, Makshadung Day for NDTV.
Floodwaters have started receding in several parts which have seen unprecedented heavy rainfall. Now in Odisha, 9 lakh people have in fact been affected because of the flood situation in some areas. The flood situation continues in Karauli in Rajasthan, and the water level of the Ganga has risen in Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh as well. The Sarayu River has also flooded Ayodhya.
In Madhya Pradesh, the second day of aerial surveys for Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan.
लगभग 25 गांव विशेषकर विदिशा जिले में ज़्यादा हैं, लेकिन गुना में भी, राजगढ़ में भी कुल मिला के 25 गांव पानी में घिरे हुए हैं। रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन लगातार जारी है। हम बोट के माध्यम से भी निकाल रहे हैं लोगों को, और एयरफोर्स के हेलीकॉप्टर भी, 2 हेलीकॉप्टर रेस्क्यू के ऑपरेशन में लगे हैं।
In Odisha, floodwaters are receding, but in several areas, people are still struggling. More than 1 lakh people have been affected by floods in Kendrapara district. The state government is providing free food, and people are being given cooked meals twice a day. In Karauli, Rajasthan, a flood-like situation due to heavy rain as water levels in the Chambal River have increased after water was released from a dam. Teams from the Army, State and National Disaster Response Forces continued rescue operations today. Heavy rainfall in the last 2 or 3 days have created a flood-like situation in Kota, Jhalawar, Baran, Dholpur and Karauli districts of Rajasthan. An NDTV Bureau report.
BJP leader and actor Sonali Phogat's family has raised questions about her death in Goa and demanded a probe by the CBI. Sonali died of a suspected heart attack on Monday night. The police have registered a case of unnatural death and said the post-mortem would provide further details. Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said a preliminary assessment, however, pointed at a cardiac arrest. A former Twitter security chief has alleged that the Indian government forced the social media firm to put a government agent on the payroll, according to a whistleblower disclosure with U.S. regulators. The U.S. media reported that Peter Mudge-Zatko, the whistleblower who was a former Twitter Inc. security chief, raised the issue about the Indian government with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, among other security lapse claims at Twitter.